places, but had the same name. Cause we were born for this. We were born for this. We are the broken ones who chose to spark a flame. Watch as the fire rages, our hearts are never tame. Cause we were born for this. We were born for this. We are the broken ones who chose to spark a flame. Watch as the fire rages, our hearts are never tame. Cause we were born for this. We were born for.
What a special day for Banana Ball. Tonight, the Firefighters make their much anticipated debut. It is game 45 of the 2024 Banana Ball World Tour. Loved by the folks who know this ain't a job, it ain't an occupation, it's a calling. The rock stars over at Zappos. A new chapter begins tonight as our young sport debuts its third team. The Bananas and Firefighters finally have company. And what an evening we have on hand. It's no longer just the Nanners and the Party Animals. The Firefighters make their much anticipated debut in our young sports, still very young history. Welcome inside the booth with Josh Talevsky, Pico Scala here. Thank you all for joining us on this momentous occasion. Thirsty Thursday, terrific evening to be in virtual Banana Land. And boy, oh boy, are we fired up for the Firefighters.
It's a new chapter in Banana Ball, the third franchise which has come into existence, and the Firefighters are ready to play. It is going to be a great night, and when you introduce a new franchise, it means there's going to be a lot of firsts in store for this ball game. Exciting to see who will pick up the first hit in this ball game, who could have the first trick play for the Firefighters, who impresses out on the mound, and even if they're able to collect a home run in their debut night here against the Bananas, and also pick up a win. The Bananas are not going to want to take it easy against this team whatsoever, and the Firefighters are running into a very powerful Bananas team at this time. The Bananas, of course, winning 2 out of 3 games in Columbus a weekend ago, and that team offensively batted .362 against the Party Animals, and there were trick plays galore, of course. We saw the most trick plays that have ever been in a single weekend with 61 between the Bananas and Party Animals.
Please direct your attention to center field. It's time to introduce the hottest new team in Savannah. Give it up for the Firefighters! lineup for the Firefighters. Leading off in center field, number 10, Parker Nolan. Batting second at DH, number 22, Joe Lytle. Batting third, left fielder, Dakota D-Mac McFadden. The cleanup hitter and extra hitter, number 21, Daniel Brito. Batting fifth at first base, Stephen Cullen. At third base, number 32, Logan Lacey. Behind the plate, number 12, Zachary Bridges. The right fielder, number 7, Blaine McIntosh. At second base, number 3, Trey Vanderpool. And at shortstop, number 2, Isaac Parra. On the mound for the Firefighters, Emmanuel Rosario. The Firefighters are managed by Valerie Perez, assisted by Corey Pye, Dakota McFadden, and Alex Bentley. Make some noise for the Firefighters!
Learn a little bit more about what this Firefighters team is all about. We have a lot of information to send your way. First off, though, this is Banana Ball's third team. They have a lot of Banana Ball legends as well as a lot of Banana Ball rookies here, and they will play 19 games over these next 2 months. This is the first of 10 against the Bananas. They'll have 9 against the Party Animals.
And of course, the signature game for the Firefighters this year is going to come in July when the Bananas and the Firefighters square off in Nationals Park in our nation's capital. The Firefighters will make a debut in a Major League Baseball stadium this year. And of course, the person at the helm for this squad is Val Perez, their head coach, and I can't think of anyone better to represent this ball club in its inaugural season than Val, who is currently a member of USA Baseball's women's national team and is also an active firefighter in Corpus Christi, Texas. And she's been working these guys really hard in practices, making sure that they have their trick plays down, getting them their reps in terms of throwing bullpens, in terms of hitting in the cages, and having these guys ready to be very competitive on night one against the Bananas. Of course, this team seeking a win on opening night.
Let's take a look at if they do earn a win, 2 of the guys who will most likely have to play a big part in it, or at least 8 of the guys, rather, former Bananas who are on this Firefighter squad.
And we've seen these guys with very, very long Banana Ball careers at that. Of course, Dakota McFadden and Emmanuel Rosario go all the way back to the 2021 One City World Tour when both of these guys were teammates on the Savannah Bananas. And meanwhile, Christian Dearman joined this tour in 2022, as did guys like Matt Malatesta and Matt Wolf, even Colin Ledbetter. And then it is so great to see a guy like Trey Vanderpool played 6 games with the Party Animals during the 2022 Summer Series and was actually spectacular. 2 steals of first for the Party Animals in that series. Find his way back to this Firefighters team in their inaugural season. And what's really unique, you've got 3 guys in Ledbetter, Rosario, and Vanderpool who become the first players to don all 3 jerseys in terms of the teams in Banana Ball.
That's right. For Rosario, it was the 22 tour. He was a Party Animal, 21 Banana. For Ledbetter, 2022, a Banana 2023, he was a Party Animal. And for Vanderpool, as you mentioned, a Summer Series Party Animal, played 1 career game on the Savannah Bananas. It was the Pros vs. Joe's Banana Fest 2022.
My very first Banana Ball game, no less, so very cool for Trey Vanderpool.
Let's get a look at 2 guys who were tremendous for their respective squads a year ago. Joe Lytle for the Party Animals, and of course D-Mac in his 3rd campaign as a Banana.
And across the 2023 World Tour, these guys were in the hearts of their respective batting orders. Joe Lytle finished within the top 5 in batting average for all players last year with that .331 mark. And a unique fact for Joe is the only guy in the history of Banana Ball to have ever collected a home run against Dakota Spilt's All-Britain, getting to do it in Vegas with the Party Animals. Now, both Lytle and Dakota McFadden were above average bats on tour, according to OPS Plus. And for DMAC, 9 home runs on tour. That was the third most of any player, and he is once again aiming to bring that powerful bat into this Firefighters lineup. And we already see that the Firefighters value their veteran presence. Joe Lytle batting second tonight, and DMAC will follow him batting third.
Okay, let's talk about the starting pitchers for the Nanners. It is Ryan Kellogg on the bump, the big lefty. And for the Firefighters, Emmanuel Rosario will make his 9th career Banana Ball start.
It's such a fun pitching matchup, and for Ryan Kellogg, a guy who is probably very excited that he is squaring off against the team not named the Party Animals. They touched him up pretty good last weekend in Columbus, Ohio. But the good things for Ryan Kellogg, we've only seen him allowing ball force sprints to 4% of batters on tour. He continues to find the strike zone. And for Emmanuel Rosario, 2021 Banana and a 2022 Party Animal. The stats you see on the screen from 2022, and of course, he was actually an above tour average pitcher, and the Party Animals pitching had a lot of woes. They only won 4 games against the Savannah Bananas. Manny made 6 starts for this team, and for Manny, the keys tonight: can he work faster out on the pitcher's mound, and can he find more control in terms of getting more strikeouts and allowing fewer ball force sprints?
Really a fascinating matchup from start to finish, top to bottom in each of these lineups. You have seen how the Firefighters are lining it up in their inaugural game. The Bananas lineup will be announced in just a few minutes here. Rosario against Kellogg in the first ever Firefighters Banana Ball game. This is going to be a special night.
I cannot wait to see what is in store for these guys. Again, we're going to see a lot of firsts from the Firefighters. And what I'm really excited to see is how aggressive do they get in the trick play department. You're trying to balance winning a ball game versus, of course, putting on a show for lots of fans. Can these guys still get the outs that they need while recording trick plays, not only in the infield, but possibly seeing guys like Parker Nolan and Blake McIntosh coming up some trick plays starting tonight in the outfield?
And the last thing we have to mention before we toss this thing down to the field, we're about 7 minutes before first pitch. The news has been making its way around Banana Land. Devastating news at that. Noah Bridges had a leg injury last week in practice. He just had a successful surgery last night, so he is going to be out most likely for the entirety of the Firefighters season, which is heartbreaking for a myriad of reasons. It will not be the end, nothing close to it, of Noah Bridges' Banana Ball career. We will see him in the future, and his brother Zach is in the starting lineup tonight. Okay, let's get it down to the young professor to fire us all back up.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and potassium enthusiasts from around the world, tonight, you and thousands of your friends here live and thousands more watching at home have gathered here to witness something beyond your wildest imagination. From Montana to Savannah, from the Isle of Man to Tokyo, Japan, the Banana Maniacs come from across the globe to witness this. This is not baseball. This is the crucible where the fastest, hungriest, and most entertaining players are forged. This is a game of the fans, by the fans, and for the fans. But this is not your granddad's pastime. This is not just another night at the ballpark. This game is baseball by birth, fruit by name, and an absolute worldwide phenomenon by the grace of God. This is the time for all 5,000 people here in Savannah, Georgia, to get on your feet and give me your voices. Because this is the greatest show in sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Banana Ball! Savannah, Georgia, it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Savannah Bananas. Leading off, center fielder, number 5, DR the Doc Meadows. Batting second behind the plate wearing number 1, Bill Leroy. Batting third at DH number 19, Dan Oper. At cleanup, the extra hitter number 3, Eric Joe. In right field, wearing number 2, Reese Superman Alexiades. The left fielder number 15, we call him Rack, Robert Anthony Cruz. At second base, number 8, our greatest showman, baby, Jackson Olsen. At third base, number 18, make some noise for Danny Hosley. At first base, number 10, our glove and bat magician, Alex Ziggy Ziegler. And at shortstop, number 6, our glove magician, Ryan Cox. On the mound for your Bananas tonight, number 49, Ryan Kukela. Your Savannah Bananas are managed by Tyler Gillum, assisted by Adam Virant and Ray Ortega. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing if you're able and remove your hats. Here to honor America with the singing of tonight's national anthem, please welcome Natalie Goodman.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail past the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Goodman.
It is the first Banana Ball game in Firefighters history, and it is game 45 of the 2024 Banana Ball World Tour, loved by the people who will tell you the hero has faced it all. They need not be undefeated, but they must be undaunted. And that, of course, comes from our dear friends over at Zappos. What a momentous day in Banana Ball history. Here's how the Nanners line it up for their first ever contest against the Firefighters. From left to right in the outfield, it's Robert Anthony Cruz, D.R. Meadows, and Reese Alexiades. In the infield, third to first, you see Danny Hosley, Ryan Cox, Jackson Olsen, and Alex Ziegler. Behind the dish is Bill Leroy, and on the bump, Ryan Kellogg.
Last weekend, the Bananas were able to cross the 300 trick play plateau, and they had 39 against the Party Animals in 3 games. Ryan Cox became the second For the second straight season, Ryan Cox was able to get to 100 trick plays in a season, and it was really D.R. Meadows on Sunday who stole the show for the Savannah Bananas. 6 trick plays in center field for this team, the most we've ever seen from an outfielder, and tied for the most we've ever seen from a single player in a ball game.
Now let's get a closer look at the 6'6" southpaw hailing from Whitby, Canada. Ryan Kellogg in his second Banana Ball World Tour, the man who spent 7 years in the Chicago Cubs minor league system, gets the ball in the first ever game against the Firefighters.
Kellogg with 2 wins and 3 losses this season, making his 15th start on tour. Entering his last start in Columbus, his May earned run average was 4.09, but it jumped to 6.43 after giving up 8 runs, 5 of which were earned to the Party Animals across 3 innings. But the bright spots for Ryan Kellogg, he's only issued sprints to 4% of batters, the second lowest mark on the Bananas this season. And all in all, we saw how good he was in 2023. Opponents batting just .264 against him. It's going to be fun to see if this guy, who made it up to AAA in the Cubs organization, can carve up a new lineup.
Let's take a look at that brand new lineup. Parker Nolan will take the first ever swings for the Firefighters. Joe Lytle and Dakota McFadden behind him. Daniel Brito cleaning it up. Stephen Cullen, Logan Lacey, and Zachary Bridges in the middle. And Blaine McIntosh, Trey Vanderpool, and Isaac Parra rounding it out.
And it's Parker Nolan at the top of this lineup, a guy you want to give as many ABs as possible to. And Stephen Cullen continued to have great stats through college and into an independent career. Here's Jesse Cole.
On 3, I need everyone here to yell, "Start the clock." 1, 2, 3. Showtime.
Here we go. Take a look at the numbers here for Parker Nolan as he gets one behind his keister. That was in his final collegiate campaign. The swan song at NC State after he spent his first 4 years at Davidson. In 2022, he was first team All-Atlantic 10. Put up really terrific numbers across all 5 years of college, but especially his final 2 at Davidson and North Carolina State.
What we saw in 2023 with NC State, Parker Nolan, a .288 batting average, 40 runs scored, 9 doubles, 10 home runs, and 31 runs batted in. He was averaging a home run every 15 at-bats that season. Very dangerous.
2-2 count. He has to look out for a 5-pitch mix from Kellogg. He'll throw any pitch in any count. And Ryan comes away with the K. Goes up with the off speed. Gets a strikeout from the former member of the Wolfpack.
And already out there celebrating on the mound with the signature Napoleon Dynamite dance. Goes changeup to Nolan and got him to expand the zone and bite on that outside corner.
Parker Nolan spent 1 series with the Party Animals a year ago. Joe Lytle was with the Bad Boys of Banana Land for the entire tour. And boy, he put up unbelievable numbers throughout his first full campaign in Banana Land, especially over the past 2 months. He was as good as anybody.
He had a 117 OPS plus for the Party Animals, tied for 4th on that team last season. Was also one of 6 guys on that squad with 60 or more hits.
And surprisingly, he fared terrific against Ryan Kellogg as he works a 2-2 count.
Lytle batted .400 against the big lefty, which wound up being the 3rd best mark on the team last season. And here he's battling, fouling off the breaking ball from Kellogg.
Has to look out for the 2-seam and 4-seam fastballs, changeup, slider, and curve. Shanks this one fair down the 3rd baseline. Lytle's gonna have himself extra bases. He's cruising around 2nd, thinking about 3rd, but the ball gets stuck under the bench in the Firefighters bullpen. It's gonna be a double for Joe Lytle, the first hit in Firefighters history.
And no better person for it to come to than Lytle, deciding to go opposite field. Saw 32% of his hits last year, went to left.
He's got popped the other way as well. He's immediately pinch run for by Zach Watson, the Firefighters' designated runner. And what a moment here for Dakota McFadden, the first man selected for the first ever professional Banana Ball team. Spent 3 years as a Banana, and now he comes up, the third hitter in the Firefighters order, wearing his dad's firefighting helmet. Flies one to right, and Alexiadis will grab it as Watson dekes towards third and will admire the beautiful arm that Reese employs.
Despite the fly out there from DMAC, what a beautiful and touching way for him to pay tribute to his father, a guy who he's looked up to all his life and is in attendance at this ball game as well.
Steve McFadden, a firefighter just about his entire life up in Rocky Point, North Carolina. And as that one gets the top of the zone here to Daniel Brito. That one deep to right. Alexiadis underneath it and has out number 3. The former Philadelphia Phillies minor leaguer is retired. And the one-out double does no harm for Ryan Kellogg.
A good, efficient inning for Ryan Kellogg. 14 pitches out on the mound in 3 minutes and 25 seconds, the time it takes him.
Here's how the Firefighters line it up defensively. In the outfield, left to right, you see Dakota McFadden, Parker Nolan, and Blaine McIntosh. In the infield, it is Logan Lacey, Isaac Parra, Trey Vanderpool, and Stephen Cullen. That is third to first. Behind the dish, Zachary Bridges, and on the mound is Emmanuel Rosario.
Well, we just saw Joe Lytle get the first career hit for the Firefighters, and now it will be interesting to see if somebody can get them on the board in the trick play department. Despite Joe Lytle playing catcher for most of the season for the Party Animals, it's Zachary Bridges, who considers himself a defense-first catcher, drawing the start behind the plate, and the two guys to really lock in on in terms of turning trick plays early in this ball game are the guys on the left side of the infield. That, of course, the third baseman Logan Lacey, who played at Florida State, and Isaac Parra, who won a couple of Gold Gloves during his time in college.
Let's get a closer look at Emmanuel Rosario, the pride of St. Petersburg, Florida. Will be the first man to throw a pitch in the history of the Firefighters organization.
Manny made 6 starts for the Party Animals on the 2022 World Tour, leading all of their pitchers. This is his 9th career Banana Ball start, and the 13 2/3 innings he threw in 22 led all Party Animals pitchers as well. Now, the keys for Rosario in his return to Banana Ball: he needs to work faster, as this game has become even quicker since he once played. He can no longer afford to have an average MPI above 5 minutes once again, and he's got to find the strike zone. He had more sprints than strikeouts on his last tour with the Party Animals. Looking to correct that in his debut with the Firefighters.
Manny, since his last Banana Ball World Tour, has spent 2 years in the Pioneer League, both with the Grand Junction Jackalopes out in Colorado, and faces off DR Meadows, who scorches one right on through the 6-hole. And the doctor does what the doctor does, pacing this World Tour with a .381 batting average, as well as a .449 on base percentage, both which will move up a couple points.
And we saw for DR only 1 hit across 3 games last weekend in Columbus. Actually dropped his batting average to just .317 here in the month of May. It's still a great mark, but by DR standards at the moment, something that he hasn't been particularly happy about.
That was the first time DR ever faced Manny. Bill Leroy, a little bit different. 5 career at-bats, 1 for 5. His lone hit came in Rickwood Field. And also got to catch Manny in the first ever Challenger Series, Bananas against the Kansas City Monarchs. And he'll lace this one out to right center. Leaping catch will be made out there by McIntosh. And 1 down. Now Dan Oberst, the designated hitter in his 6th season as a Savannah Banana. 3rd year as a pro. Just continues raking, hitting .365 with a .410 OBP.
And playing especially well when in the confines of Grayson Stadium. It's a healthy swing and a miss from Dan Oberst. DR Meadows was off on the pitch, and Zachary Bridges behind the dish couldn't quite handle the banana ball. So a stolen base for DR with one out as Oberst swings at the 1-1 and lifts it into center field. Parker Nolan sizing it up will make the grab and throw this one into the infield. Logan Lacey trying to field that one between his legs, and it gets away, and DR Meadows scampers up to third. The ball has rolled into the Firefighters dugout, and the costly error leads to the first walk-off of the ball game for the Bananas tonight.
Bananas up 1-0, 1 inning in, another look. The bouncer in, Lacey trying to go between the legs, and it will cost the Firefighters their first inning in banana ball history. Let's get it down to Sam Bauman.
Josh, you've introduced us to some of our new Firefighters. I've got 6 of them here, and like we do in banana ball, this is going to be quick, but we want you to get to know these new faces. You've heard elevator pitch, guys. This is a free-falling elevator pitch. 10 seconds, tell us your entire life story and name.
Hey, I'm Alex Bentley. I'm from San Diego, California. I'm an actor. I love fish tacos, and this is the happiest place on earth.
You did under 10 seconds.
Austin Temple, Palm City, Florida. 2 things I love: banana ball and fishing. Let's go.
These guys are flying.
Hi, my name is Sal Trimble. I'm from Virginia Beach. No, I don't have a brother named North. I have unlimited hobbies. I'm jacked up to be here.
This is great, guys. They're on a great pace. Yep.
Nolan Daniel from Dublin, Georgia. I love to pitch. I love to dance, and I did 75 hard.
6 seconds, guys.
How's it going? My name is Marshall Shield from a small town called Arizona. Love playing guitar, traveling, and best place on earth, banana ball.
8 seconds. We're killing it.
What's up, guys? Bradford Webb here from Virginia. Don't forget Christ is King. If you need your oil change, give me a call, baby.
Guys, we got a little bit of everything going on down here. They already understand banana ball. Fast wins games. They are ready to win some action. We're going to get to meet these guys a little bit later. I know Nolan, Marshall, they're going to be pitching tonight, and they're hoping to pitch just as fast. Guys, let's get back to the action on the field. Biko, Josh.
Sam Bauman, thank you so much. Thank you, Firefighters, as well. Boy, I really thought Sam was going to have to be cutting guys off there. They were ready for the task at hand.
They were ready to rumble in their inaugural interview with Mr. Bauman, and kind of want to call up Bradford Webb and see if he can get me an oil change soon.
I think you could use that. Okay, so throwing with his hockey stick and now giving way to a goalie mitt, and that's just kidding. That wouldn't be a goalie mitt. That's just any hockey player's mitt. Finally, pitch number 3. He's got a baseball glove on, and after all that, a 1-2 count on Stephen Cullen. Kellogg working quickly, just misses down and away. 2-2 on the Firefighters' first baseman. Full count. Kellogg does not give up a lot of sprints, only giving up sprints to 5% of batters. And boy, oh boy, gnarly slider there on the payoff. He has strikeout number 2.
Good pitch for Ryan Kellogg, and I think you would have seen a swing and a miss regardless there for Stephen Cullen deciding to chase that one. I feel like early on you're seeing these Firefighters, I should say, pressing at the plate just a little bit, very eager to try and get some big swings off of the Maple Leaf lefty.
Heater just misses the outside corner, and this one is chopped to Jackson Olsen. Nice adjustment on a tough hop. He'll go under the leg and grab his 59th trick play of the tour.
Despite the tricky hop there from Jackson Olsen, still makes it look routine as ever, grabbing the trick play. And like his teammate Ryan Cox at shortstop, it's Olsen could be well on his way to getting over 100 trick plays this season.
The former Seminole retired. Now Zachary Bridges takes the big curveball in there for strike 1. He played against the Bananas on the Charleston Dirty Birds in the 2-game Challenger Series in the capital of West Virginia a year ago. Of course, the brother of legendary Nanner Noah Bridges and Zachary. What a beginning to your Firefighters career. Base knock right back where it came from.
Well, we saw Bridges in those 2 games last season. 1 for 5 with a ball 4 sprint and a hit by pitch. And that 1 base knock wound up being a double for Bridges, who really shined, and even a guy that we had mic'd up on those broadcasts.
He will become a fan favorite if he is not already, as Blaine McIntosh, former New York Mets minor leaguer, takes a heater just a tad out and finds the 4-hole. Bridges jumps over the bouncer, will stay put at second base as Alexiadis fires it in. And a pair of 2-out singles here for Bridges and McIntosh. A spot of trouble for Banana Land's Big Maple as he stares down Trey Vanderpool, the second baseman, holding down the 9-hole, takes a healthy hack and a miss at the fastball. Vanderpool 3 for 13 in his Banana Ball career. It was in the 2022 Summer Series when he was a party animal, did pick up a double, worked 3 ball-4 sprints compared to just 2 strikeouts, scored 5 times in 6 games, and drove in 3 runs as well. I mean, it was a really impressive Banana Ball debut series.
He's a guy who plans to wreak havoc on the base pass. We saw him collect 2 steals of first for the Party Animals across those 6 games, which were 2 of his 5 total stolen bases. As this one squibbed to Jackson Olsen. McIntosh collides with him, and second base umpire Bryson Wheeler is going to rule there was interference from McIntosh on that play, which should end the inning for the Bananas without the Firefighters getting on the board.
Wilson and McIntosh both colliding right where the ball was headed. Blaine trying to plead his case that he was just running right in the baseline, but the fielder has a right to the ball, and that is what Bryson Wheeler ultimately rules, that McIntosh interfered with Olsen's fielding attempt, so it will be out number 3. And Kellogg gets out of the 2-out jam. Take a look at the Firefighters infield from first to third, finishing up with Parra, the shortstop, on the right side of your screen. This is a really talented bunch.
Well, we've seen Stephen Cullen, the note that we gave a couple moments ago, a guy who averaged a home run every 8 at-bats while playing at Southeastern University in 2023, and then followed it up by playing in the Pioneer League with Idaho Falls. He's definitely a bat-first guy, and one of the heavy hitters in this Firefighters lineup for Trey Vanderpool, a former Party Animal, and a guy who actually played with Dalton Malden while in college at Trevecca Nazarene in Nashville. Logan Lacey, a Florida State University player, and what's really interesting about him, he's a potential 2-way player, could very much be their Danny Hosley, manning third base and then coming in and pitching for this team. And for Isaac Parra, glove-first defender, and the guy who is actually really working on perfecting slap hits in Banana Ball, aiming to be like an Ichiro Suzuki type for this team.
It'll be really fun. Parra will lead off the top of the 3rd inning. We'll see his first career Banana Ball at bat. Certainly glove first, but still a guy who hit .326 across his final 2 collegiate years. As you look at Logan Lacey, very exciting Firefighters third baseman. And Eric Jones Jr. steps in, chops one to the left side. Parra tries to go between the legs, looking for the first trick play in Firefighters history. Instead, it is a trick play miss. The inning-winning run is aboard. And Josh, that goes back to some homework we have to take care of. Really bizarre ending to the first inning. What's the official scoring rule, as Lacey tried to grab that one between the legs and it ended up in the Firefighters dugout as Flash the Kid will swipe second. 1 pitch into his pinch running rendezvous here.
I think I skew error despite him trying to go between the legs.
Because
really no potential for him to come up with a trick play whatsoever.
No, I think that you can just chalk it all up to first Banana Ball game jitters there. There wasn't a trick play possible because it has to come on an out, and there was already a fly out on the play. But Lacey just trying to add a little pizzazz for the full capacity crowd here in Grayson. And it ends up losing the inning for the Firefighters. Does Dan Oberst get the walk-off for batting the ball? Or does D.R. Meadows get the walk-off for the deep going towards third, as this one is rifled into right and bobbled out there by McIntosh. Stop sign, though, for Flash with 2 outs, and Bridges will fake the throw to second. Heads up running there by Alexiadis. as Blaine sailed that one over the head of Stephen Cullen, the cutoff man.
Eileen giving the walk-off to Dan Oberst. The ball had to be put in play for that outcome to occur.
I agree on all fronts. Infield in against Robert Anthony Cruz. Lined up the middle base knock. Rack picks up the walk-off. 8th of his banana ball career. And the Nanners are up 2 points to nothing, 2 innings in. Flash at the middle of the celebration. Really nice dancing here. I believe that was a move-for-move replication of the step-up water scene. Just in case you hadn't got a steady enough dose of dancing from that, here comes Maceo Harrison and the fellas to bless us with a boogie that will get us to the 3rd inning. What a job by Mace with Brandon Crosby, DJ the Invader, Austin Krasminski, and the man who scored the inning-winning run in the 2nd, Malachi Mitchell. Good to see Jackson Olsen A-OK after McIntosh collided with him in what ended up being the final play of the top of the 2nd. Now it'll be 10, 1, and 2. Bottom of the order trying to feed the top. And how about that? A base knock for Isaac Parra. Naturally a right-handed hitter who is bringing slap hitting to banana ball. So far hitting 1,000.
It's exactly what we teased when we were focusing on this infield. You see Parra just sticking out the bat, sort of a swinging bunt. And as he's getting that bat on ball, you already see he is out of the batter's box, chugging towards first base. Completely threw the team off guard.
Ichiro Suzuki-esque. You could not have scripted a better beginning to his hitting career in Banana Land. As Kellogg brings in Olsen, Cox, and Meadows for an enthusiastic 3-2-2. A choreographed dance. He sends the boys back and tosses a slider down and in to Parker Nolan back at the top of the Firefighters order.
The most animated we've ever seen Ryan Kellogg during a 3-2-2. The most athletic he's ever looked, and Jackson Olsen and Ryan Cox were having so much fun. They decided to hit one more boogie before going back to their positions.
The Firefighters still looking for their first run ever scored. As Parra takes off for 2nd, throw from Leroy on the money. Nice scoop there from Olsen. Excellent slide though from Parra, who picks up the first ever Firefighters stolen base. Another look at the scoop, the slide, and the tag. Good call by Chris Walker up there at 2nd base. And this one chopped. Cox goes the short way. Hosley can't pick him up. The ball bounces into the Firefighters dugout. It'll be a dozen errors on the tour now for the glove magician. Isaac Parra scores the first ever Firefighters run. That one off the bat of Parker Nolan. And the manager for the Firefighters, Val Perez, tossing out burgers, no look behind her, as the fellas try and collect those tasty meat sauces. Bill Leroy grabbing a bite of a burger before Christian Dearman can carry the grill off.
A wacky way for the Firefighters to get on the board for the first time in their team's history. But Ryan Cox just rushed that throw a little too much. Danny Hosley still adjusting to playing most games at third base for this Bananas team. Couldn't quite handle it.
Tell you what, everything about our 2+ innings here this evening has been remarkably wacky. We've seen a lot that you just do not see very often in Banana Ball.
And despite another unusual sequence of events that led to that run, it's one that was completely earned thanks to Isaac Parra and his speed for the Firefighters, beating out the slap single, stealing second base, and had enough speed that Ryan Cox was very wary of it and tried to challenge that throw over to third.
And that was a green light special base running move there by Parra. Ball was hit in front of him, but he still tried to grab third. A good throw would have got him. But he put the pressure on, and as Tyler Gillum loves to say, it ended up bursting the pipe. The Firefighters looking for more. Nolan leads off of second. It's been a great battle here between Lytle and Kellogg. Joe doubled down the left field line his first time to pick up the first hit in the history of the Firefighters.
5 pitches into this at bat. Ryan Kellogg with a little bit of a quick pitch as Alex Ziegler tries to field this one under the legs. It skips away from him and rolls towards that second base bag. And Parker Nolan shows off the hustle, coming all the way around to score.
The second trick play missed in 15 attempts for Alex Ziegler over at first. We've seen some tough hops off of this Grayson Stadium infield tonight. Another one right there. Looks like it could have been a carbon copy of what he did for trick play number 20 last Friday night in Columbus, Ohio, which set the Banana Ball trick play record for a ball game at the time. They ended at 22, and then the Nanners and Party Animals combined for 24 on Sunday to blow the previous record out of the water.
And this is only Alex Ziegler's third start at first base this season, so still getting acclimated to the position as this one is chopped. Ryan Cox goes between the legs, speed to Jackson Olsen, who fires it over to Ziggy. And for Ryan Kellogg, able to induce a key double play as Cox picks up trick play number 105 on tour.
The Party Animals have scored a pair of runs already in the inning, and now pass the baton to Daniel Brito with the bags empty and 2 down. Brito flew out to right his first time, taps this one to second, barehanded by Jackson Olsen. Ziggy tries to go behind the back, and boy, we have not seen the pride of Butler, Pennsylvania miss trick plays very often. That is 2 now in the frame. Only 3 trick plays missed on 16 tries on the tour.
Well, pretty automatic last weekend for Ziegler, but having an unfortunate inning there as you see the frustration at the end, not being able to keep that one in the glove as now Stephen Cullen steps into the box 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
Now an error and 2 trick plays missed for the Bananas behind Ryan Kellogg. Both runs he has allowed have been unearned. As there's a hack and a miss on a 2-0 changeup. That's what Kellogg brings you. You just cannot think that you're ever in a fastball count. That does not exist with him. And he gets another changeup ahead 2-1. Now 2-2. 3 straight changeups. A strikeout for Banana Land's Big Maple, his 3rd of the night. But the Firefighters rather do push their first 2 runs of their existence across and have a chance to earn their first ever point. Let's take a look at who makes up the outfield for the Firefighters in their first ever game. It is D-Mac in left, Nolan in center, and McIntosh in right.
We saw Dakota McFadden make 74 starts for the Bananas last season. Only one of them came in left field, but for McFadden, a guy who the Firefighters like defensively, they want his arm in left field. And it is really cool to have this guy who has been around since the One City World Tour, not only as a player on this team, but leading them as a coach as well. Now for Parker Nolan, we talked about the terrific stats at Davidson and NC State in 2022, a guy who was a first-team All-A10 player, and of course had a series with the Party Animals here in Savannah in early August. Now for Blaine McIntosh, this is a former Mets minor leaguer drafted in the 13th round, and we saw him playing in the MLB Draft League just a year ago, and across 31 games, impressed with a .418 on-base percentage, and he'll try and keep that going early in his Banana Ball career.
It is a powerful outfield that these Firefighters employ, and tonight it does not even include Zach Watson, who is a third-round draft pick out of LSU and is their designated runner because he employs such amazing speed. It's an incredible weapon that you can pinch run him one time every trip through their order. He's already pinch run once tonight.
Well, they've made this Firefighters team so deep that it feels like one powerful player is always going to be left out of the lineup every night. But I'm sure tomorrow we will see Zach Watson draw his first start for the Firefighters.
Jackson Olsen leads off the third. 7-8-9 for the Nanners. Hosley and Ziegler waiting in the wings. Jackie had a tough weekend in Columbus, but the overall numbers on the tour still spectacular here in year two.
Still leading the Bananas with 13 doubles as this one chopped towards Stephen Cullen at first base. Has a tough time fielding that one. For Jackson Olsen, he will reach via the error from Cullen.
Tough start defensively behind Manny Rosario, who has been walked off on twice tonight, but both runs he's allowed were unearned. Due to an error in the first, a trick play missed in the second. And now there's traffic once again, thanks to a leadoff single back in the first by Meadows, and then the trick play missed to start the second. He's been out of the stretch, 2 batters into every inning tonight. It's a really impressive arsenal. He's got a low 90s fastball, has gotten it up to 96. Last summer in the Pioneer League, that was his top velo. Also has a sinker, cutter, splitter, and sweeper. 5-pitch mix.
And trying to work inside on Danny Hosley with each of these first 3 pitches. Courtesy of TrackMan data, it's actually been Hosley who's impressed as he's crushed pitches on the inside part of the strike zone. So we just saw Manuel Rosario try a pickoff move going behind the back to Stephen Cullen and follows it up, missing the count now 3-1.
That one cracked through the left side. Hosley does a good job of getting the hands in. The TrackMan data does not lie. The inning tying run is now aboard. And Alex Ziegler still looking for his first career Banana Ball home run. Represents the inning winning run at the dish. And he's plunked. First pitch, that's the sinker bearing in. Never feels good to be hit on the hand by 90 plus. Ziggy at first, smiling it off. Looks like it got him on the forearm. And there's the smile again. He makes his way to first as the bags are full. Another look. Yeah, that one right off the forearm. Not a good feeling.
Yeah, you see the little yelp from Alex Ziegler upon being hit. That's when you wish you had some kind of elbow or forearm guard when you're in the batter's box.
Ziggy's far too metal for that. Doesn't go up to the plate with safety equipment outside of a helmet. Come on, this is a former machinist we're talking about here. 2 balls, no strikes to Ryan Cox, who has been remarkably clutch all year, but especially as of late.
We saw last weekend in Columbus, Cox batting .625. He had 3 RBIs and 3 walk-offs, as this one is hit to Stephen Cullen, who's trying to turn 2, but nonetheless, a run comes across for the Bananas here in the inning.
He thought about home, but you saw Zachary Bridges, his catcher, directing him, no, try and turn 2 the other way. And the Party Animals do trade 2 outs for a run. Check that, the Firefighters. Hopefully that's the last time I do that this evening. I've got 1.5 so far for everybody keeping track at home. Hopefully that's not on the K-Club bingo. And D.R. Meadows, who singled his first time, back at the top of the order with the fate of the frame in his hands. Hosley 90 feet away, representing the inning-tying run. Crisp heater on the low outside corner, and Rosario is 1 strike away from earning the first point in Firefighters history. This one chopped to second. Vanderpool over to first. And the Firefighters are officially on the board. They trail the Nanners 2 points to 1.
Despite an almost costly decision by Stephen Cullen, opting to turn 2 but not go for the force out at home, Emmanuel Rosario able to bear down and get D.R. Meadows, the tour leader in batting average, to earn that point for the Firefighters, as we now get a look at the Banana Nanas back here in Grayson.
Boy, does it warm the heart to see America's darlings, the Banana Nanas, doing what they do best. The most impressive dance troupe in the Northern Hemisphere. You can quote Biko Scala on that one, if anybody thinks that's not a fact. And there's 1 pitch into the 4th inning. Vincent Chapman, home plate umpire, calls time. Dusts off home plate and heaves his mask. Not a lot of height. Only reached an apex of 32 feet. But horizontally, he gets that thing all the way back to the backstop. Really unique mask toss there by the man calling balls and strikes.
And in Major League Baseball, when we see umpires sometimes throwing off the mask, getting in coaches' faces during heated arguments, that toss, the height from Vincent Chapman, actually the MLB average for an umpire.
32 feet. Yeah, sounds accurate. I know Saugerties native Tom Hallian was always getting at least 32 feet of elevation on his mask tosses, as Kellogg gets that one in on the hands of Logan Lacey. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Six, 7, 8 for the Firefighters, kicking off the 4th. Payoff pitch, cracked well. Rack on the run, turns his back, and will track this down just in front of the warning track. Sliding into second for no reason except for good times. Logan Lacey with a double for his first career banana ball hit.
Had the benefit of the Bananas outfield starting to creep in for possible sprint defense. This one finds the gap, and for Logan Lacey, it's a guy in the middle of the order who they are hoping can slug. Across 3 years at Florida State University, Lacey with a .466 overall slugging percentage.
Peter just misses to Zachary Bridges, who kicked off his Firefighters career with the base knock his first time. He won the Fan Favorite Award in Charleston, West Virginia last year with the Dirty Birds. That was an award voted on by the fans as Olsen makes the call and the catch for out number 1. And now it'll be Blaine McIntosh, who also singled his first time, who will swing it with Lacey leading off second and 1 down. McIntosh coming to Banana Land after 5 years in the New York Mets farm system. 13th round draft pick back in 2019 out of Clarksville, Tennessee. Guy who's always dreamed of playing in Banana Land back before Banana Ball even existed. He was following the Savannah Bananas on social media during their collegiate summer league days. As he's got a full count, guy who could have ended up here collegiately had he not foregone his commitment to Vanderbilt and gone pro right out of high school. But he made it here nonetheless and will pick up his first career Banana Ball RBI on the first sprint offered up tonight by Ryan Kellogg as Lacey comes in to score from second, and now a door set up at the dish. Logan kicks it down. And the Firefighters thoroughly enthused as they've scored for a second straight frame. Trey Vanderpool muscles this one out to right center. It's going to get down. Alexiades firing into second, not in time. Belly flop dive for a 2-bagger. Trey now 1 for 2 on the night. And the Firefighters looking for more. Runners on second and third, still just 1 out.
And right at the point when Shark, the public address announcer, was able to let the fans know that he was the donut hitter, Vanderpool had already struck for that liner in the right center gap. And this is what we've continued to see from Trey Vanderpool in practices, just a guy who continues to get his ABs and consistently just hit line drive after line drive for this ball club.
Isaac Parra turns around to hit from the right side after, on the first pitch he saw as a banana baller, as a lefty, he chopped it in the infield for a base knock. As we mentioned, his first time up, he's a natural righty, and with the Bananas bringing the infield in and 2 ducks on the pond, he turns around to hit righty and does not bite on the high bender.
Well, this is a circumstance where the slap hit wouldn't aid you very well with the Bananas infield already shifted in and looking to go home if one is hit to them.
Fascinating move. Zach Watson pinch running for Trey Vanderpool, who runs very well himself out at second. As this one's spoiled by Parra. Trey limping a bit as he enters the Firefighters dugout. We will monitor that. Hopefully their second baseman is A-okay. Another 1-2. Great take there, slider. Spent a long time in the zone, ended up down and in. Cut and a miss. Some 2-seam action on the 2-2 from Kellogg. He has his 4th punch out.
This is very much reminiscent of the Ryan Kellogg we saw in 2023, a guy who was striking out 18% of batters, and once again, racking up more strikeouts because this is the lineup facing him for the very first time. As you see, a healthy cut, Parker Nolan down to a knee and coming up empty, and then lining the next pitch up the middle. 1 run comes around to score, and an aggressive send home is cut off by Alex Ziegler. It is now 3 runs in the 4th for the Firefighters.
Clutch piece of 2-out hitting for Parker Nolan. There's a reason why he's at the top of this Firefighters order. Gotta get him up to the dish as many times as physically possible. He picks up a pair of RBIs. And now Joe Lytle, who's 1 for 2 on the night with a double. Quick 0-2 count. Nolan always a threat to run as well. A perfect 23 for 23 in his stolen base tries across his 5-year collegiate career. Good job of fighting off the high heat there from Lytle. There goes Nolan. And that one bounced off the glove of Kellogg. He scampers after it and does not have a play. Looks like an infield single to me, Josh Talevsky. Your thoughts?
I felt like it was more an error on Ryan Kellogg as that one kind of skipped off the glove, and that's a little bit like a play that he should have had there.
It goes officially in the book as an E1. How about this? Zach Watson pinch runs for the 2nd time in the inning because we're a 3rd time through the Firefighters order. It's the first time in Banana Ball history we've seen a designated runner used twice in the same inning. The Firefighters know their rules. D-Mac ready to hack on 3-0, down to a knee. Still his count to work with. That one off the end of the bat. Still, he got a lot of keister into it as it's tracked down in front of the warning track by DR Meadows. That is the prolific pop that D-Mac employs. Did not square that one up. Still drove it 380 feet plus out to left center. 3 runs for the Firefighters in the top of the 4th. They have a terrific opportunity to tie this game at 2 points apiece. We hey baby here in historic Grayson Stadium. The band on the Firefighters dugout bringing some of Banana Ball's newest team's fans out to join them in the fun. Some of the Nanners faithful joining Jesse and company on the first base dugout. And talk about heartwarming. Noah Bridges in the chat, watching on YouTube. Noah, hope that your pain meds are not making you too loopy and you can thoroughly enjoy the first ever Banana Ball game for your new home in Banana Land. For those who were not with us on the pregame show, Noah injured his leg in the Firefighters spring training about a week ago. Just had surgery yesterday. He's not projected to be able to make a return across the 19-game season that the Firefighters have that takes place over the next 2 months. But I can just about guarantee you Noah will be in Banana Land representing the Firefighters for years to come. It's a marathon, not a sprint for a legend of Banana Land.
Obviously, we're all looking forward to the Bridges brothers playing together once again. But even though Noah will not be on the diamond, he could almost serve as yet another coach for this Firefighters team. He's played so much Banana Ball that he can aid them in a couple of decisions down there in games and provide good insight for all of the rookies new to this ball club.
It will be 2, 3, and 4 for the Nanners. They've got a 3-run hole here in the 4th inning. Manuel Rosario out for his 4th inning of work and is greeted rudely. An ambush from Leroy. First pitch of the frame, line to left. It was a line out first trip to the dish for Leroy. So the 7-year Banana with a couple quality at-bats. And the boys in white and yellow, one base runner away from bringing up the inning tying run. And one pitch later, the situation has arisen. Now Dan Oberst down on the ground. Looks like the Firefighters bringing out the gurney. And even though it's not their teammate, the heroes do not care who needs the aid. They show up and they serve when needed. And they'll get Dan Oberst almost all the way to first base before he makes an immaculate recovery to the delight of the Grayson Stadium faithful. What a collapse from the 6-year Banana.
And the Oscar goes to
this one lifted to the right side from Eric Jones Jr. Blaine McIntosh tracks it down. Leroy will tag and go from second to third as Oberst stays put at first. 3 pitches, a single, a hit batter, and a flyout. And Reese Alexiadis steps up. We'll see what action happens on pitch number 4 here in the 4th. Something crazy is bound to occur. No, it's just a fastball inside. Good luck predicting banana ball, folks. That ball blistered all the way to the wall, down the left field line. Leroy scores. Oberst has a wave around. The relay throw in time. Boy, what a questionable send from Ray Ortega. The Bananas need 3 runs to tie the inning. And they give up out number 2, just trying to score run number 2. I couldn't begin to explain the thinking there.
It was a great relay in from the Firefighters, and was just surprised as Ray was watching the play develop that he decided to continue to give Dan the green light to score. The Bananas have run themselves into a second out, and Firefighters a much easier chance to knot this game at 2 points each now as Rack behind 0-1.
It's the difference between the Washington Nationals former minor leaguer who has 4 home runs already here in his first banana ball season, representing the inning tying and the inning winning run. Instead, it's the former, and Rosario is 1 strike away from earning the Firefighters another point. He'll do just that. Gnarly splitter there for Manny. He grabs his first strikeout of the tour, and just like that, we're knotted at 2 points each. Let's get it down to Jolie Chabala for our Bananas Foster Family of the Night.
Across the United States, there are over 400,000 children and teens in foster care without a permanent home. To raise awareness and bring families together, we created a nonprofit called Bananas Foster, an organization that is dedicated to celebrating those in the foster care community while educating and inspiring others to get involved. Tonight we are celebrating the Swan families. Sylvia has been a single foster mom here in Georgia for the last 4 years. She was inspired by her parents, who have been foster parents for over 16 years. In total, both families have welcomed over 140 children and teens into their home. Bands, please help me celebrate Sylvia and her parents for making a difference right here in our community.
warms the heart. See those real-life superheroes in the middle of the action here in Banana Land. And it also fires us up to see the big smile of Andy Archer as he comes in to relieve Ryan Kellogg after 4 frames from the Nanners starter.
This is the 16th time we've seen Andy out on the mound working for the Bananas this season. The Party Animals have batted .304 against him on the season, and for Archer, he's another guy who is hopefully going to benefit from a new team seeing him for the first time. And we still saw pretty solid results from Archer in his last appearance in Columbus, throwing 2 2/3 innings, allowing 2 hits and 1 earned run, and threw 39 pitches and averaged 3 minutes and 9 seconds to get 3 outs. And for Archer this season, a 69 ERA plus, and hoping to get that to tick up against the Firefighters.
Archer 4 years at Georgia Tech before he finished up at the University of Hawaii. 3 different fastballs, 4-seam, 2-seam, and a cutter. The split changeup is his only off speed. And what a joyous walk-up it is for Daniel Brito. 0 for 2 in his Firefighters debut. This is his 3rd career banana ball game after he went 3 for 6 when he was a member of the Charleston Dirty Birds in the Atlantic League a year ago when they challenged the Nanners. Brito able to check his swing, which Archer disagrees. Bryson Wheeler with the call as this one chopped foul. Nice diving stop by Ziggy on strike number 2. Brito went 3 for 6, a double, a ball 4 sprint, plunked by a pitch, 2 runs driven in, 1 scored in his first professional game since he suffered a seizure and internal bleeding all the way back on July 31st, 2021. And he was at AAA for the Philadelphia Phillies. He ended up in a coma for almost 2 months as he flicks this one the other way. Robert Anthony Cruz, backflip catch for out number 1 in the 5th.
Rack played Brito well in just his 3rd plate appearance for the Firefighters. Had enough time to line that one up. And one of the best landings we've seen Rack nail as well. Now up to 13 trick plays on tour.
Stephen Cullen steps in, strikeouts in each of his 2 plate appearances against Kellogg. He takes a monster hack and comes up empty on the split change. To finish up on Brito, he spent 59 days in the intensive care unit up at Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester, New York. As this one is sliced the other way, Cullen with his first career banana ball hit. And Brito still on his road to recovery. Played 12 games with the Dirty Birds last year in the Atlantic League. But the one thing, even though hitting came back to him, which is pretty mind-boggling that he was able to come back to hitting that quickly. I mean, he had to teach himself how to walk again before any of that was possible. He still could not slide last year, and Anthony Coromato, hitting coach for the Party Animals, was the bench coach for that Dirty Birds squad. Said they just had to let him go because he had to go back home and learn how to slide. I mean, it's something as simple as that. Coromato could not believe the hardest thing to do in baseball is hit the ball. And Brito was plus in that department. But sliding was another matter as Logan Lacey deep to left. This thing back at the track. And it's going to be a ground roll double. Hops up into the seats. Rack unable to make a sliding snag. And Lacey with doubles in each of the last 2 innings. Another look at the attempt here from Cruz. And now, a nod to one of my favorite television shows of all time. From the Files of Police Squad, we have a remarkable trip to home plate for Zachary Bridges. Look out, folks, fire truck coming through. Really nice evasive maneuvers from the 4 Oaks, North Carolina native. born in Wilmington, moved out to Johnston County, about 3 years old, and takes the route less traveled, dives in and out of the Bananas dugout, and now struts up to home plate.
You know, sometimes you got to do crazy maneuvers with those firefighter trucks, the police cars. Zachary Bridges just wanted to make sure that was recognized during the walk-up.
Looked like the double-decker bus from Harry Potter there, contorting his body in ways that the laws of physics could never begin to comprehend. Quick 2 strikes, and it is 3 pitches. Zachary Bridges is struck out. And that's that for Police Squad.
Well, that's what you've got to get adjusted to as a banana ball rookie as well. After you do a signature walk-up, being able to dial it back in at the plate, focus on your at-bat. It's a quick strikeout for Zachary Bridges, and Andy Archer has placed his first arrow behind the pitcher's mound.
Now Blaine McIntosh, who chops it up the middle. 360 from Ryan Cox. The throw goes into the Bananas dugout. Cullen will score Lacey behind him. A 2-run error from the glove magician, his second error of the ball game. Lightning striking twice. As we get another look here. It was going to be a tough play. The question is if it's a single and an error.
I think Eileen's single and an error. McIntosh with great speed. Looks like could have possibly beat that one out. And then the error, of course, leading to that second run scoring for the Firefighters.
I concur. So Blaine gets 1 RBI. The E6 scores Lacey from third and gets McIntosh up to second. Now Trey Vanderpool. Ahead 3 balls and a strike. Doubled his last time up. And that one just scraping the bottom of the knees. Pop to the right side. Alexiadis underneath. There's out number 3. More clutch, 2-out hitting though from the Firefighters. After a 2-run single from Nolan in the 4th. It's an RBI single with an extra run scoring on the error from Cox. That one with 2 outs. And the Firefighters' bats have come alive. 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, now 2 here in the 5th. They could get their first career lead in points in their first ever banana ball game. Let's get it down to the stands with Sam Bauman.
Well, Biko, Josh, yeah, a lot of energy here. The Firefighters have shown up for this first game. I'm here, though, with one of the men who this team is all about. It's our real-life Firefighters, Steve McFadden. That's right, the dad of Dakota McFadden. Steve, you've been a firefighter for decades. Plenty of McFadden firefighters out there. What's your reaction to find out your son is going to be a firefighter?
It's awesome. I mean, I've been a firefighter for 42 years, and knowing that he's out there coaching and playing with them, it's just awesome.
What does it mean for firefighters around the nation to have a team that represents them out here in Banana Ball and representing them well so far?
Well, I hope that all firefighters can eventually watch Banana Ball and root for them.
Now, I know you are a dad, Dakota out there. He wore the helmet there today, your old helmet. What did it mean to see your old helmet out there on a field?
I was honored. It was touching. I really enjoyed it.
Firefighters looking good so far. Any dad advice for Dakota out here tonight?
Advice? Just hit it where other players aren't at.
Wise words from Steve McFadden, one of the many firefighters out there this team is lucky to represent. Guys, this is what it's all about. Biko, Josh.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you, Steve. Hit them where they ain't. Best piece of advice you could ever dream of for a hitter. As Dalton Malden pinch hitting for Jackson Olsen here. He just can't take his eyes off of you. Yes, that's you watching at home. The songbird of his generation stares right at you and takes a front door bender. What a monster movement on that tight offering from Rosario, who has switched up his mix from his last time in Banana Ball, the 2022 tour with the Party Animals. He's cut a pitch off and gets a 3-pitch strikeout of Malden. The sweeper for the K right there also has the splitter, cutter, 4-seam, and 2-seam fastball. Did away with his changeup and slurve since we've last seen him.
Well, that was only Malden's 6th plate appearance this season and his first since April the 20th in Albuquerque. So tough for Malden to feel entirely comfortable in the box during that at-bat. And again, guy who was just wrapping up the signature walk-up and didn't exactly dial it back in against Rosario.
Manny with no Ks through his first 15 batters faced. He has struck out the last 2. Now stares down Danny Hosley, who poked a single into left his first time. 3 straight bad ones to kick off this plate appearance. And that is 4 straight balls to Danny Hosley, who's going to test the Firefighters' sprint defense and will be blessed with 2 bases. All 7 Firefighters have to touch the ball before it is live. Those are the 7 fielders behind the pitcher and catcher. Hosley easily grabs 2 bags.
And for Danny, aided a little bit by Zachary Bridges' inability to corral that ball in the glove from Rosario, and good aggression from Hosley, and I think you're going to see more of that from the Bananas on sprints tonight. Just going to test this Firefighters sprint defense until they're able to gun somebody out.
One swung on and missed. Wild pitch. We'll get Hosley from second to third. He's not the man who truly matters this inning. I mean, Danny Hosley always matters. Danny Doolittle is one of the best we've ever seen. I digress. That's not the point. Alex Ziegler represents the inning tying run. He's the guy the Firefighters really care about. And he has struck out. 3 Ks across the last 4 batters faced for Manny. Another look at it. It was the sweeper once again. That is a gnarly bender. Now Ryan Cox, who fouls off the sinker to start his AB.
That's what you're going to get from a guy who commands the sweeper. A lot of horizontal movement, as you saw that one breaking away from Ziegler. Looked very good as it was coming in, and by the end had fallen out of the zone. And Rosario continues to pound the zone here in the 5th ahead of Ryan Cox 0-2, and could be setting up yet another sweeper.
Goes back to the gas. Tough play over at first. Call in to Rosario just in time. The Firefighters win the 5th inning 2-0. They take their lead. 3 points to 2. First lead in points in the history of the Firefighters. They have scored 3 unanswered. And the Banana Band blasting away. With the help of the Fire Squad. That'll be the Fire Line. The drummers accompanying Banana Ball's newest team. Brass and percussion. Marriage. What brings us together today. What a beautiful marriage it is. Jesse Cole and company boogieing as we head to the 6th. First Banana Ball game in Firefighters history. They lost the first 2 innings and have stormed back. Winning the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, they now lead 3 points to 2.
And what we've seen across these last 3 innings for the Bananas that has made a lot of difference for the Firefighters. 2 trick plays missed, 3 errors behind the pitchers. Just sloppy defense lately as Isaac Parra leaves the box and the Bananas are able to catch him stealing, and that's of course another thing that you will see from these rookies. A little too aggressive, and it's only the 4th time on tour that a player has been caught stealing first base this season.
That was the downside of Parra bringing slap hitting to Banana Ball. He completely left the box with his swing attempt, and that made him an active runner. Immediate force play at first. Leroy rolls it. Ziggy receives it between the legs. Any trick plays on that, Josh?
No. We can't be too liberal with them, I would say. Was it made that spectacular? I would not say so.
Big chopper, Ryan Cox between the legs, just in time to get the speedy Parker Nolan. Now that, folks,
is spectacular.
And therefore a trick play.
Now 106 for Ryan Cox. Set up perfectly to go under the legs there, and again deciding to do it against a very speedy runner as well in Parker Nolan.
Joe Lytle back up the middle. What a start to his Firefighters career. 2 for 4 with a double. Reaches base for the 4th time in as many trips to the plate, because he's also reached on a trick play missed and an error. And for the 3rd time tonight, he's pinch run for by Zach Watson.
Lytle not a bad runner by any means for the Firefighters, but this could also be an effort to just keep him fresh, as they may be aiming to line him up behind the dish for this team tomorrow night.
I would wager that's exactly what Val Perez and company will do. That one past the dive of Eric Jones Jr. Watson thinking about getting an extra 90. He'll slam the brakes and stay at second. And a pair of 2-out singles for the Banana Ball vets, Lytle and DMAC. And all of a sudden, after 2 quick outs, Archer in a pickle, facing the man who made it all the way up to AAA with the Philadelphia Phillies. Daniel Brito takes strike 1 right at the knees. Lined, it's big time trouble. Watson scores easily from second. Alexiadis fires in to second as the tag will be applied on Brito in time. No slide there. Malden able to nab him, but after Watson scores, so the Firefighters score for the 4th straight inning and have a chance to extend their lead in points. I beg your pardon, Ryan Cox with the tag there at second. And let's get it down to the young professor.
They're going to collect their husbands, who are going to jump in the sack with them, and they're going to hop all the way back. The couple to make it back to the finish line first will be crowned the best couple in the sack here tonight. Ladies, are we ready? Gentlemen, are you ready? I bet you are. All right, on your marks, get set, go, ladies. Here they go. Marcy getting those long strides out there, but don't count Brooke out. Here comes the transition. Got to hop in that sack. Fellas, act like you've been here before. Come on. All right. They're struggling, but there it is. Oh, my goodness. Cover the sheets. Keep it up. Stay together. They're going. Oh, no, she goes down. I don't know. An error in the sack. It's going to be close. Oh, my goodness. Redeeming themselves. Give it for Marcy and Brett. They are the best couple in the sack.
We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and 4-year Savannah Banana, part of their World Tour team a season ago, makes his debut as a firefighter.
Great to see Nolan Daniel, the Dublin kid, making his Firefighters debut. We saw 11 appearances from Nolan in 2023 in his Banana Ball debut season with the Bananas, and he controlled his controllables. Only allowed 1 home run, 1 hit by pitch, 3 ball 4 sprints, and struck out 10 batters. The advanced metrics love Nolan, and he throws one of the heaviest sinkers in the game as DR Meadows rolls this one towards Isaac Parr at shortstop and is able to beat this one out. Firefighters want to see if they can get a challenge from the fans, and they will.
How about it? There's the fan challenge. It ended up in Firefighters fans' hands. And we are ready to rumble. Control room, let's take a look. A minute on the clock. Parra with a quick exchange, strike to first. And our first look so far shows DR Meadows clearly safe. In fact, that is vindicating evidence for Chris Walker, the first base umpire. That's all you need to see right there.
Call stands.
Zach Frangelo, you are a silly guy. Let's overturn this play. He said we have the video board if we would like to look.
Further review. The rolling on the field is safe.
Of course, Grayson Stadium no longer has a video board, not since the Sand Gnats left town after the 2015 season. Irreparable damage was dealt to it one way or another. Who's to say how? We don't need that fancy technology here in our city by the sea. This park's been here for now its 99th season. Grayson Stadium construction completed in 1926 as Bill Leroy bounces this one through the 4-hole, and DR will go first to third. Leroy following him, gets to second. Parra tries the between the legs tag, and the throw just a tad late.
That's the benefit for Bill Leroy of having worked with Nolan Daniel for so long. Caught him all the way back in high school, caught him with the CPL Bananas, caught him in Banana Ball last year, knows that repertoire as good as anybody, collects the opposite field hit and uses his aggression to get into scoring position, and the Bananas a really excellent chance to not only tie this inning up, but win it and tie this ball game.
Slider from Daniel just misses as Bridges, it does get a strike call. Bridges just could not squeeze it. 1-1, and that one chopped back up the middle. The inning is tied. Flash coming home. Throw from Nolan is perfect, but it never had a chance. Dan Oberst grabs walk-off number 15. Check that, make it 16, since he already had one all the way back in the first tonight. And we are knotted at 3 points in. 3 points each, 6 innings in.
Oberst has been stellar in Savannah, Georgia, now with 9 runs batted in this stadium in 2024.
Well, big-time rush celebration.
The Bananas have
Danny with ribeyes 26 and 27. And we get another look at the chopper up the middle. Perfect throw from Nolan in center, but simply could not contend with the insane speed of Flash the Kid. Son of Olympic gold medalist for the USA, Dennis Mitchell. He comes racing in. A point has been scored in each of our 6 innings tonight, 3 going to each side. Welcome inside the broadcast booth with Josh Talevsky, Pico Scala here. We can't thank you all enough for being with us for the first ever Firefighters game in Banana Ball history, first of 19 here in 2024. What a thrill it has been already, and now the final 3 innings will decide this thing. We come up to the booth because we will be giving away a free pair of shoes, courtesy of our friends over at Zappos, as we have across the first 44 games of this tour. No time to waste. Drum roll o'clock. Our buzzword this evening is fire truck. That would be fire truck. F-I-R-E-T-R-U-C-K. Fire truck.
I'd imagine it was the most suitable word for tonight's contest. And of course, as we saw the Firefighters make their grand entrance into Grayson Stadium tonight, you saw the fire truck right outside that center field wall, just honking that horn and giving them the kind of entrance that they truly deserved.
It was a fun one. And boy, we cannot wait to see what the Firefighters bring us across the rest of these 19 games. But they are locked in an unbelievable battle in the first Banana Ball game they've ever played.
Well, I think we knew that this Firefighters team was going to be able to bat. That was kind of what we continued to hear all throughout practice, that this team very dangerous offensively, but could struggle a little bit when it comes to pitching. But even though we saw a rocky start from Manuel Rosario, pretty good final 3 innings and an unfortunate start to 2024 for Nolan Daniel.
First time he ever faced the Bananas after he won 2 Coastal Play League championships across his collegiate career, 2020 through 2022. And as we get a quick 1-1 count on Stephen Cullen. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Firefighters. Andy Archer out for a 3rd inning of relief. Cullen 1 for 3, couple strikeouts, a single, and a run scored. And that one just foul. Could have been extra bases for Cullen, who was with the Idaho Fall Chuckers in the Pioneer League last summer. As there's the split changeup. Disgusting pitch from Archer for his 2nd K.
He's not a guy who is out there to get cheated in the batter's box. We saw a pretty seamless transition from college to the independent leagues for Stephen Cullen. At as many singles as he did extra base hits in his final senior season in college, and with great power sometimes comes a lot of swing and miss in that bat.
And great responsibility.
Well, yes, but I feel like that was already, understood.
That was implied. People don't really understand the large amount of swing and miss that can come with great power. They think great responsibility. I can handle that. They don't get the full breadth of the consequences. 4 bad ones out of 5 offerings to Logan Lacey, who takes a big turn, falls down, and will head back to first base. A 1-base sprint after he doubled in each of his last 2 at-bats.
And that's the Savannah Bananas goals tonight.
Number 12.
For every ball four sprint issued by a pitcher, you do not want to see any Firefighters making their way up into scoring position. You are trying to really show them how the sprint defense is executed at the highest level as Zach Bridges swings through the first pitch from Andy Archer.
2 ball 4 sprints have been offered tonight. 1 from Kellogg, 1 from Archer. Each left the Firefighter base runner at first base as Zachary Bridges sends this one to center. D.R. Meadows underneath it will tap it up in the air and catch it himself. No. Yes. Okay. That one on the exchange. Bryson Wheeler, the second base umpire, making the call.
Fans, now coming to pitch, the world's tallest pitcher. Please welcome Dakota Stilts O'Brien.
The 10-foot, 9-inch legend out of Ellaville, Georgia, takes over for the man from Milton.
Through 17 appearances in 2024, Stilts has only allowed 1 hit on the season. He's induced 6 groundouts and 9 flyouts. And although it's a small sample size, just 5 2/3 innings pitched for Stilts, his ERA plus on the season sits at 3.20.
Blaine McIntosh takes the big bender for strike one. And that's what Stilts calls the tall ball. That one a brush back. Check over there on Logan Lacey, who stole 10 bags and 12 tries across his 3 years at Florida State. Four for 5 in his stolen base attempts at Tallahassee Community College before that. Tallahassee born and raised, got to spend all 5 years collegiately in his home city. 3-1, McIntosh fouls it straight back. Another tall ball, and now we have a full count. Outside, Bananas need to get the ball to all 7 fielders behind the pitcher and catcher before it is live. Lacey will get a stop sign from Val Perez over at third. Great sprint defense by the Nanners, as now there are runners on the corners.
And as much as they were trying to avoid McIntosh getting up to second base, you could see the defenders watching Logan Lacey very carefully, trying to see if he would possibly get a little too aggressive and try and come around and score, but instead a wise hold from Val Perez.
Two balls and no strikes. This one chopped back to Dakota. What a snag by Stilts. He rifles it to first. And Ziggy there for out number 3. Cat-like reflexes for the lanky legend.
Didn't even have to bend down to try and field that banana ball. The greatest play we've ever seen in the career of Dakota Stilts All-Britain. And a really impressive job by Alex Ziegler, once again holding that first base bag, getting Stilts out of the 7th scoreless.
Fans, please join the Bananas and Firefighters in honoring the men and women that serve this great nation as we salute our hometown heroes of the night. We thank you for your service and commitment to our great country.
Shark honoring all the service members, both past and present, here in historic Grayson Stadium. We pass that on to everybody watching here on YouTube. And what an exciting moment we have ahead of us. Anybody who has not been living under a rock across the last 3 world tours knows who is inside that barrel. The pride of Joy, Oklahoma.
Number 4, Matt Wool.
With a brand new rodeo barrel, fires a perfect strike in after the cartwheel and backflip. Now look at the numbers here on World Tour number 3. All against the Party Animals when he was on the Bananas for Matt Wolf.
A makeover for the barrel, now in fire engine red, and for Matt Wolf, after 44 banana ball games pitching for the Savannah Bananas, the greatest trick pitcher in history, faces off against his former team for the very first time. Here in 2024, he has thrown 4 innings in less than 3 minutes, with opponents batting .319 against him, and continues to induce ground balls. 17 groundouts on the tour. And again, another excellent representation of this Firefighters ball club. Wolf himself, a firefighter in Oklahoma City.
Matt, a 4th generation firefighter. His dad was a fireman, grandpa was a fire chief, his great-grandpa a fireman before him. Matt said he joined the fire service because he wanted to carry on that tradition. And of course, it was a no-brainer that he had to be a member of Banana Ball's third team, the Firefighters. Eric Jones Jr. chops it to Parra, bobbling the ball across the diamond. Excellent recovery. And a nice start for the Firefighters in the 7th.
Despite juggling that banana ball for just a moment, Parra does not rush the throw, takes his time getting it over to Stephen Cullen at first. Comes away with a nice pick, and Matt Wolf with the first out of his career against the Savannah Bananas, of course. This has got to be quite a surreal moment for Wolfie. Guys who were teammates with him this year and now trying to keep the game knotted at 3 points all. That's a 2-1 count on Reese Alexiadis.
They get 3 balls and a strike. Wolf, of course, employs over 30 pitches. Almost all of them with a trick involved, as the Firefighters here having trouble on the sprint defense. They finally get it to the 7th fielder behind the pitcher and catcher. At that point, Alexiadis standing on third base.
And that's where you see the inexperience also come into play for the Firefighters. All of them gathering around that second base bag, and nobody, after touching the banana ball, thinks to go over and cover third base. It's easy for Reese Alexiadis to recognize that. Get just 90 feet away from scoring for the Bananas.
Here's the hero of the second inning for the Nanners. Rack won it with a single up the middle. Now ahead 3 balls and no strikes. And Wolf is 1 ball away from gifting the Bananas their 4th point. Sends one right down the chute. That one out of play, not grabbed by a fan. We'll do another payoff. Wolf getting tricky with it. Looking Alexiadis back to third base.
Struggled with the transfer a little bit and wisely just decided not to throw the ball, instead check on Alexiadis. Regathers himself on the mound and goes after Rack, who's battling, fouling off another pitch.
Lined through the right side. Rack with his 2nd walk-off of the night, 9th of the tour. And the Bananas retake the lead. They're up 4 points to 3.
And this is fantastic to see from Robert Anthony Cruz. Entered tonight's game with only 1 hit in Grayson Stadium this season. Now has 2, and both of them walk-offs, and the 2nd to give the Bananas the lead once again.
They were up 2-0. They trailed 3-2. And now back-to-back walk-offs, 2 points unanswered. They lead for the 2nd time tonight in a seesaw affair, the first ever game in Banana Ball history for the Firefighters. It's been a roller coaster ride thus far as we take another look at Rack's 2nd hit and 2nd walk-off of the evening. And the boogie that followed it with Alexiadis at the middle of the shuffle. We are honored to be joined by the man in the yellow tux, Jesse Cole now. Jess, a historic night for Banana Ball. What does this mean to you?
It's truly special. You know, when you first started, we had 1 team, the Bananas, then with the Party Animals came on in 2020, and now to have the 3rd team, and to see the way they have responded tonight with double-digit hits and competing with the Bananas, it's a testament to the amount of quality Banana Ball players that are out there throughout the country.
Jesse, we just saw Matt Wolf enter this game, of course an active Firefighter, and Val Perez is at the helm for this team as well. How cool is it to have Firefighters leading this ball club in their inaugural season?
Well, it's special, and I think this was all intentional. You know, we wanted to really be authentic in who we brought on, and Val has been unbelievable with the group, and Matt, you know, showing what it's like to be a firefighter. And, you know, we want to be a brand that this could be courage, show courage, be heroic, and really be something aspirational for kids and everyone else, and honor firefighters all over the country, and to have 2 actual firefighters on the team, you couldn't ask for much more.
Jesse, what do you hope for the Firefighters here in their inaugural season?
I think they're already, you're seeing it tonight, creating a lot of fans. In the first few weeks, to have over 100,000 followers on social media, to see this stadium going crazy when they came out for their entrance and scoring runs, I think it's just the beginning for the Firefighters and building a brand all over the country.
Boy, we are fired up to have them, no pun intended. Jesse, what's your prediction for the rest of the game?
It's definitely coming down to the last inning.
You bet your bottom dollar. Thanks so much, my man.
Thanks, guys. Love you, Pico. Love you, Josh.
Love you too, Jesse. Oh, man. It had been too long since we got to chat with our fearless leader. Historic night for Banana Ball. DJ the Invader trying to keep the Nanners out in front. Alex Ziegler behind his back on the Baltimore chop. What a job from Ziggy for trick play number 14 of the tour.
A trick play that we have never before seen in Banana Ball. Ziggy manning the first base position in a major way, fielding this one behind the back 360, and then taking it to the bag himself. It's a nice start for DJ the Invader, who in his last appearance was able to get 3 outs in 1 minute and 45 seconds for the Bananas. And across his last 4 innings pitched, the highest MPI that he's recorded, 4 minutes and 16 seconds. He's working mighty fast.
And a testament to how successful he's been on the bump across those last 4 outings. Parker Nolan back at the top of the order. Behind 1 and 2, the Invader pounding the zone, which has been such a key part of his recent success. 5-pitch mix, otherworldly changeup. And as this one is popped right side, Alexiadis tracks it down on the run. You also have to look out for 4-seam, 2-seam, cut fastballs, and a slider from the Invader, who has 2 quick outs.
1 minute and 45 seconds on the clock for DJ, and with the chance to record yet another stellar minutes per inning mark. Of course, DJ thrown 8 career innings in under 2 minutes, and he has done it yet again. 1 minute and 59 seconds for the Invader, and capped off by a beautiful trick play catch in center field from the Doctor.
That's one of the greatest backflip catches you'll see in your life. A laser beam off the bat of Lytle. And DR, no worries at all. Floating through the air, flipping, and the face of Dalton Malden says it all. That is mouth agape right there.
And it is 40 trick plays for DR Meadows as well on tour. He is aiming to try and get 100 now by tour's end, continuing to try and elevate his numbers here in what has already been his greatest season ever.
What a jaw-dropping display of athleticism from DR Meadows. The Vidalia, Georgia native puts the cherry on top of a sub-2-minute inning for DJ the Invader. What a beautiful night sky we have here above Daffin Park in Midtown Savannah. The 332nd straight sold-out crowd in Banana Land, 230 of them coming right here in historic Grayson Stadium. They all turn the sky yellow as our camera down on the field.
One more time.
Most likely attacked by a sand gnat, maybe a swarm of bees.
Keep it going. Here we go.
Just been a naughty banana baller, bringing on some tickling. Could be anything. You never know what's happening around here. Don't do it, Josh. I do not like the look in your eyes. Jesse, your thoughts?
We love you so much, Banana Nation. Now let's go, Bananas!
You do not want the tickle monster to strike back at you. Tulevsky! Coordinating producer Chad Reese with a surprise attack as Marshall Schill makes his Banana Ball debut.
Well, last season, Marshall Schill was pitching with the Ogden Raptors in the Pioneer League, playing alongside Reese Alexiadis. In 41 games, Schill had over a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, which is an excellent sign for how his banana ball career could go. And this guy is as funky as they come out on the mound, a sidearm pitcher, can even drop down to submarine if he so desires. And you're already seeing how fast he can work in banana ball. Getting that ball back, the feet already set to deliver a pitch. He's jumped ahead of Olsen 0-2, and that one just out of the glove of Zachary Bridges. Couldn't hold it on. Would have been a strikeout in 17 seconds for Marshall Schill.
Quick pitch, liner right into the glove of Lacey at third. Well struck for Olsen, who reached on an error his first time, was pinch run for by Dalton Malden. Back into fifth. Now Brandon Crosby will pinch hit for Danny Hosley. It's the gnarly slider you see there from Schill. He's got 6 pitches, 5 of them sidearm. 4-seam, the slider you saw, the cutter, changeup, and a knuckleball, as long as he's not too sweaty. And then he'll throw the sinker submarine as he stutter steps and delivers this one inside. He was in the Australian Baseball League this past winter and gets his first career banana ball strikeout. Boy, Marshall Schill, 2 batters faced into his banana ball career. Looks like a problem on the mound.
This is why the Firefighters, I should say, are giving him high leverage opportunity early into his career. They feel like his speed out there on the mound can baffle these Bananas batters, as Alex Ziegler now walks up to the plate with the bat on fire, and it's the Firefighters putting out Ziggy's bat before he can get up to home plate.
Derek DeClue at the front of that Firefighter brigade as they douse the fire. Alex Ziegler was balancing and bringing to the dish. Safety first these days in Banana Land. Slow tapper left side, between the legs, 360, Isaac Parra, you've gone mad. What a way to pick up his first career trick play.
Parra fired up, the Firefighters dugout all storming out, celebrating that impressive trick play from Parra. And in Marshall Schill's first inning of work in his banana ball career, it's a 1 minute and 46-second inning.
Every run counts for a point. That means the Firefighters are as dangerous as ever, and you better believe they are looking to win here tonight, score some runs, and get some points on that board. On the other hand, the Savannah Bananas need just 3 outs to win this game. Ladies and gentlemen of Savannah, Georgia, make some noise and welcome to the final inning.
Let's meet the ring dudes for tonight. On the Bananas dugout, number 21, Jared Donaldson. And number 88, Noah Nisbet.
What a job by Marshall Schill. Keeps the deficit at just 1 point as we head to the 9th, our final inning. You know, Marshall, a wild baseball and now banana ball career. His freshman year, he was at South Mountain Community College, where Tyler Gillum coached. And his head coach, Todd Easton, one day said, "Hey Marshall, let's make a deal. If you ever throw over the top again, I'm cutting you." Marshall was about 85, 86 miles an hour with the fastball. He never once again did throw over the top. Went sidearm, a little bit of submarine, became South Mountain's closer. Ended up with a D2 scholarship that got him to Lindenwood University in St. Charles, Missouri. And now he's pitched professionally in 3 different countries and kicked off his banana ball career incredibly.
And just another wild stat about Schill, despite throwing from that funky arm angle across his past 3 seasons of ball, and this is 105 career games, he has not thrown a wild pitch.
Boy, he's gonna fit right in here. unbelievable mustache to boot. Cherry on top. 2 balls and no strikes to Dakota McFadden. Heart of the order here for the Firefighters. 3, 4, and 5 due to swing it as Hosley paints the black of the outside corner. Does not get the call from Vincent Chapman. 3, 4, and 5. McFadden, Brito, and Cullen. With the Firefighters down a point against the greatest pitcher in Banana Ball history. Hosley, the only man with more walk-offs on last year's tour than D-Mac. 28 for Haas, 23 for McFadden.
And challenging D-Mac with a couple of heaters, which could now set up that signature changeup, of course. It's the first time the former teammates have ever squared off against each other.
What a good job here by McFadden, shortening up the swing, spoiling really well-placed full-count heaters. Another payoff, more gas, same spot. A strikeout for Hosley and a tip of the cap from McFadden, as that was just perfect execution from a killer on the bump.
Painting that outside edge of the plate. Perfect spot. Danny Hosley wanted to throw that one and saves him from issuing what would be a 5th ball four sprint here in the month of May. That's really been the only reason we've seen the earned run average at 3.75 for Hosley this month, which is a great mark in Banana Ball, but high for Danny Hosley considering all the success he's had as Ryan Cox will make this catch in shallow left field. No trick play there for Coxie.
2 quick outs for Danny Do-It-All. Stephen Cullen stands in the way of the Bananas, and a victory in the first ever game for the Firefighters. Fastball. Cullen was trying to tie things up in one fell swoop.
2019 to 2023, Stephen Cullen with 74 home runs collegiately. Looking to claim one here in the Firefighters' debut game that would tie up this ball game at 4 points all.
Firefighters down to their final strike. The Vulcan changeup, the best pitch in Banana Ball history, on display there. Same pitch, same result. Danny Hosley slams the door on a 4-3 victory for the Bananas as they down the Firefighters in the first ever game for Banana Ball's 3rd team. Another look. It's simply not fair. Looks like his 92 to 93 mile an hour heater, but it comes in the low 80s, bites down and in on a righty, and is nearly unhittable. 2 punch outs in a 1-2-3 inning for Hosley, who is now 13 for 14 in save opportunities. And Bill Leroy will take center stage. Banana Land, let's dance! Heck of a fight from the Firefighters in their first ever Banana Ball game. We will see these 2 teams do battle once again tomorrow night as the Firefighters look for revenge and the Bananas look to win the series. We'll be right back here on the Savannah Bananas YouTube page, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, pregame 7 p.m. first pitch. We will have a post-game show coming up here. You will find out who is tonight's winner of a free pair of shoes courtesy of Zappos. And then we will see you mañana. Back down to Bill.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet your winning squad. We've got entertainers Alex Ziegler, Malachi Mitchell, Maceo, with infielder Dalton Malden. Up next, our starting pitcher, Mr. Ryan Kellogg. And behind the plate, myself, Bill LaRoe. And for our pitching staff, Jared Donaldson, Ethan Scooge, DJ the Invader, Austin Krasminski, Noah Nesnick, and Andy Archer. And the boys who do it all, our utility players, Eric Jones and Danny Hosley. For the boys in the infield, Jackson Olsen, Ryan Cox, Brandon Crosby, Danny Oberst, and Rack Robert Anthony Cruz. And for our outfielders, Superman Reese Alexiadis, DR Meadows, and Michael Vitamin D. Our coaches, Adam Barrett, Ray Ortega, and Tyler Gillum. Last but not least, the tallest man in sports, Dakota Stilts Albritton. Fans, one more time for your Savannah Bananas. Thank you, fans, for being here for this historic night. Round of applause, their first game over here, the Firefighters. And your Bananas and both teams will be out in the plaza to thank you guys, take pictures. We love you so much, Banana Nation. Thanks for the support. We'll see you outside.
What a Banana Ball debut for the boys in red and yellow, the Firefighters. We're down 2-0, 2 innings in. It looked like it might be a laugher at the hands of the Nanners. But then they storm back, win the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings, jump ahead. They have a lead in points, but the Bananas, in their 45th game of the tour, showed their Banana Ball veterancy, winning the 6th and 7th frames, and then turning the ball over to DJ the Invader and Danny Hosley, who combined to retire the last 6 Firefighters they faced and shut the door on a 4-3 win.
All in all, experience prevailed in the Bananas win tonight, and you can zero in on a couple key moments in tonight's ballgame that led to the Bananas scoring some points against these Firefighters. Of course, we saw Logan Lacey's error in the first inning that led to the Banana Ball rolling into the Firefighters dugout and allowing DR Meadows to come around and score an early point for the Bananas. And then in the second inning, we saw it begin with Isaac Parra going for his first career trick play, not being able to turn it successfully. It was a trick play missed from Parra, allowing Eric Jones to reach on first base. EJ would come around and score a second point for the Bananas in the ballgame. And then later on in the game, in the 7th inning with the Matt Wolf on the mound, he issues the ball for sprint to Reese Alexiadis, and all of the Firefighters crowd around that second base bag. Nobody thinks to go and cover third base. Reese Alexiadis takes notice, gets into third, and then just one batter later, Rack with a single into right field, and the Bananas would make it a 4-3 ball game. Those were 3 key moments, and even though the Firefighters gave them some gifts tonight, the Bananas are still batting .307 as a team across the final 4 innings this season. So very good at attacking bullpens. We saw that as they did that successfully against Nolan Daniel and Marshall Schill. And for the Bananas, they were able to hone it in at the end of this ball game, despite a couple trick plays missed and errors in the middle innings in tonight's game. The Bananas with no errors and no trick plays missed across the final 4 innings defensively, in what turned out to be a really good Banana Ball game, wrapping up in 1 hour and 46 minutes. Again, and this is in the Firefighters' debut, so really solid stuff.
Yes, it's clear that the intense Banana Ball practice and endurance they have been going through over the past month paid off, because they were ready to rumble. Just a little bit of the first ever game jitters there on the error in the first inning, the trick play missed in the second, and even though the Bananas so incredible at executing later on in games. It turns out that those first 2 points end up being the difference in this one, as the Firefighters looked amazing in the middle and the Nanners' Veterancy shows up in the end. What a way for the Firefighters to start the Banana Ball careers. This certainly looks like a formidable opponent for the Bananas and the Party Animals. I mean, it showed up on paper. You could tell the resumes, 4 former minor leaguers, 8 guys who have played on the Bananas already. This is a team that makes sense on paper. It was really fun to get to see it work out in front of our eyes.
Well, there's an adjustment period for new teams and new players in Banana Ball. You feel like you've got a grasp on the game in practices, but really it gets a lot different once you're in the heat of a game. I think the Firefighters learned that tonight. And Biko, you touched on it. There were still a lot of encouraging signs for the Firefighters. It was a very competitive game. The Bananas only won by 1 point tonight. And again, we saw veterans coming through. Joe Lytle with an excellent game, a couple of knocks, also reaching on errors and trick plays missed, doing everything that he possibly could for the Firefighters offensively. A great debut for Logan Lacey in Banana Ball, working a ball four sprint and collecting a pair of doubles for this ball club tonight. And for Isaac Parra, got the first career trick play for the Firefighters, really impressing. And Marshall Schill in that final inning of work for the Firefighters out of the bullpen, a 1 minute and 46-second inning. He is going to be really fun to watch for this squad and could very well step into a closer's role very quickly.
Talked to a lot of Bananas players before this series. They all predicted a sweep. They predicted a sweep in blowout fashion. That's not going to be the case. It was just a 1 point difference between them and the Firefighters. The Firefighters, throughout their spring training, their rallying cry has been 19-0. That is no longer possible. 18-1 is still in the cards for sure. I mean, we talked about it on the pregame show. Both these teams are heroes in Banana Land, but boy, oh boy, they love each other off the field. There is no love lost once the 2-hour timer starts. You saw that tonight, a collision at second base. These teams will be fighting tooth and nail to win this 10-game series between the two of them in 2024. So far, Nanners up 1-0, still 9 to go, the next of which will be tomorrow night. Before we get to that, we do have to give away a free pair of shoes, courtesy of our friends over at Zappos. Drum roll, please. Azalea Alvarez, 10 out of 10 name, really nice alliteration. The parents of Logan Lacey would be proud of that one. Azalea Alvarez, congratulations on your free pair of shoes. Logan Lacey, one of 6 siblings, the only one with an alliteration. Really got the tall stick, the short stick, pulled the tall straw. Anyway, good work there, Logan. Congratulations on winning that one. All right. I digress. You got anything to add there, Josh?
He got the good baseball genes.
That's a fact. Let's shout out the cast and crew that made this show possible. On the first base camera, a legend of Bananas television, the Iron Horse of BTV, Emerson Elmgren. Terrific work. Same goes for Lexton Fowler, who is Lex Enough and also is known as Battlestar Galactica. Lex, terrific job. On the high home, Sophia Peach, who has been incredible here in 2024. On the high first, Arch Pongle. Some folks know Arch as Arch Pingle. Here around Chatham County, it is Pongle to you. Now, on the left field slash, Ben Barks. That is a Swiss Army knife of BTV, breaking out a brand new camera. Terrific work, Mr. Ben Barks. Another incredible work of alliteration, which is just always the right move when you're naming a child. On the wireless, Justin Gordon. Justin, boy, oh boy, it was a blast to get to have Justin on the road recently, and now we get Justin killing it here back in Savannah after killing it with us in Columbus. On the utility, Clayton Franklin. That would be Clayton Pimp. Superb work, Mr. Clayton, after a well-deserved week off. Now, when it comes to the folks in the control room, finally, just a stone's throw away from us here in the broadcast booth, our director, Kylie Sadomka, calling all the right shots at all the right times, and our technical director, Mr. Griffin Ellis, with one of the most beautiful beards you will ever see, pressing all the right buttons at all the right times. On the replay, it was Keegan. You're going to see it once. You'll see it twice. If you deserve it, you'll see it thrice. Woods, that guy is as good as they come on the sticks. Audio, one one name. You know him, you love him. It would be the Quansmeister Quanzi on the ones and the twos this evening. The scorebug dominated by Michael Basista, who is as good as they come in that department. And on the graphics, Julia Massey with Jade Morgan, one of our newest additions here to BTV. Jade will be all over the place, a rising star in Bananaland. And, of course, Julia Massey, helped by Mikey O'Connor, who is updating the statistics on said graphics. That is now a dynamic duo who is turning into a terrific trio here in Bananaland, and the best in any graphics department this side of the Mississippi. Our moderators in the chat, Scott Thompson and Colbyte_back, and better than ever. Our video legend, Chris Sacchi, the Italian rapscallion, joining us in the booth tonight. Boy, oh boy, was it nice to have the Sachmeister back with us. A big shout out to our curator of vibes in the booth. That would be our marketing director, Kara Heater. And thank you, as always, to our YouTube kings, Zach Bro, and not with us this evening. Also, Zach Bro and Yvonne Trezak, 2 nights off. 2 nights off? You betcha. Yvonne's about to rack up 2 more this weekend. Have fun on the bachelor party, Mr. Tracksuit. Josh Talevsky on the color commentary and the statistical savantry. Brilliant on this historic night.
Biko, it was a true honor to be with you, to make history tonight and cover the Firefighters, the 3rd Banana Ball team. By the way, you were fire on the play-by-play.
Thank you very much. Glad that Banana Ball's newest team did not douse me on the mic. This could not have happened tonight if not for the amazing Chad Reese, the coordinating producer of Bananas Television. Chad, do not tickle me. No! I know it's, yeah! No! Yeah, how do you like it, Josh? How do you like it? Perfect. That's what I was hoping for, yeah, as he works with his mic cord that he just yanked out. Great time to shout out the executive producers of BTV, Emily, Jesse, and Carrie Cole, as well as El Presidente himself, Jared Orton. Special thanks to Sam Bauman for his work down on the field, as well as the firefighters who joined him, and Steve McFadden, the father of the legend of Bananaland, D-Mac. As Josh said, I am, in fact, Biko Scala, saying so long. Tonight we see Game 2 in Firefighters history on the morrow, right here on the Bananas YouTube page. 6:30 p.m. pregame show, 7 p.m. first pitch, as the Firefighters look for revenge and the Bananas look for a series win. Until we see you mañana, we will see you later!